What's up guys, CJ here, and welcome back to another all-new Hybrid Network video. You notice I didn't say Newsflash because this is somewhere in between of our Newsflash and annotated series. Specifically, we're not just going to talk about the news today. I'm going to give you this news, but we're also going to spend a great deal of time in this video talking about sort of what the news means and explaining it and exploring what might have been. If you remember, late last week, Kathleen Kennedy confirmed to reporter Eric Weber that the Boba Fett movie, which was long in development but never officially announced, had officially been put on hold. Or unofficially, I guess. And now, just days later, we have our first bit of information about what exactly the movie would have been. That's right, we got some plot details about this canceled project. This comes to us straight from Entertainment Weekly themselves and their reporter Anthony Bresnikan, who is, if you follow this industry, one of the most connected and in-the-know journalists out there. He revealed in an article a couple days ago that the movie was actually set to focus on not just Boba Fett, but the cadre of bounty hunters that we see in The Empire Strikes Back. That's right, the reptilian rogue Bosk, the dangerous Dengar, the short but sinister Zuckuss, and the android assassins Lom 4 and IG-88. What role those bounty hunters would have played in the film is still up for debate, and it raises some interesting questions about when exactly the film would be set. I think many, like myself, assumed that the movie was going to pick up basically where we last saw Boba Fett, in the Sarlacc pit, which, believe it or not, in canon, he still has not escaped. But if all of these bounty hunters were to be featured, none of whom we ever see again in episodes 5 or 6, or 7 or 8 for that matter, it kind of seems to point to the fact that the movie would have taken place sometime around the era of Empire Strikes Back. Specifically, in my mind, if the movie was going to feature all of these bounty hunters specifically, we might actually have seen the chase for Han Solo and the competition between these intergalactic badasses to catch him, kind of in the way that Rogue One gave us the behind the scenes on how the Death Star plans were captured, a little bit of a different point of view on something that was just name dropped. Could we have potentially seen how exactly Boba caught Han Solo, which to us is only that he tracked Han after planting a beacon on the Millennium Falcon and following him after he sneakily got away when the Star Destroyer ejected its junk. Of course, all of these bounty hunters were major figures, or else the Empire would not have bothered going after them. Darth Vader would have wanted the best to catch Han. So if these guys are the top of the criminal enterprise, this really could have taken place at any point in the Star Wars series, either before Empire Strikes Back, or yes, potentially after it, because these guys, like I said, are just big names. And specifically, if Boba did escape the Sarlacc pit and did return to bounty hunting, there's a chance he would have crossed paths with these guys again. And to see this project go down in flames is really kind of a bummer, because Boba Fett is one of the most interesting characters in the Star Wars universe, in my opinion, and objectively, he's one of the most popular characters that the franchise has to offer, despite the fact that, really, in the films, he's never given his moment in the sun. I mean, he literally falls to his presumed death by just being kicked, and he hasn't actually had a lot of canon adventures after the original trilogy as well. Remember, like I said, specifically, we don't know in canon if he's actually escaped the Sarlacc pit. And the Boba Fett project had been one that Disney was working on since the earliest days of acquiring Lucasfilm. Specifically, the film went into production in 2013, just months after they acquired the rights to these characters. Immediately, Josh Trank was attached, but after the disaster that was the Fantastic Four movie, and the disaster that he was behind the scenes of that film, he was removed from that project, and it kind of fell into limbo for years. Then, literally just months ago, James Mangold of The Wolverine and Logan was attached to the film, which I think a lot of us thought was a great idea, especially if it was going to be a Western in the vein of some of his other films, like 3:10 to Yuma, which is just a masterpiece, and would seem to fit the character. But now here we are, literally, like I said, just months later, and the project has come to a screeching halt as Disney wants to focus more time and resources on The Mandalorian. And that begs another interesting question. Obviously, Boba Fett himself is a Mandalorian, and I'm not suggesting that he's going to be the main character of The Mandalorian in any way, shape, or form. I think they'll probably go with a brand new character for that, but it's certainly not out of the realm of possibility that he could appear in a show, specifically that we've heard is going to be about uniting Mandalore and resurrecting the old Mandalorian culture, something Boba himself did in the aftermath of Return of the Jedi in the old Legends canon. Of course, despite the fact that the project has been halted for now, that doesn't mean that it's done forever. Specifically, Entertainment Weekly does mention that the chance for resurrection is there. So let us know in the comment section down below, what do you make of this news? Are you still upset about the Boba Fett film being canceled? Does knowing that it was going to feature all of those other bounty hunters, slightly less iconic iconic. Does that make you a little bit more upset about it being canceled? And what does this do for you on The Mandalorian? Does it make you less likely to watch it? Does it make you more likely to watch it? Personally, I'm still in that wait and see period. I do think it looks really interesting, and the chance of Boba showing up would definitely do a lot for me personally, but again, I'm just gonna have to wait until I hear more. That's gonna do it for me here though. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider turning on your notifications to be alerted every time we upload a new video. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.